Madalina has lost a total of 4 stone on the motivation program, 25 kgs. So starting at 14 stone 9 pounds, 93 kilos, and now 10 stone 8 pounds, 67 kilos. The mental weight, which I'm going to talk myself and Madalina more about this, was 15 stone 2 pounds starting off, and now 9 stone 5. So very unhealthy habits, behaviours, mindset.
I had been struggling for probably a year in terms of trying to lose weight. So I went through, obviously with start of COVID, everybody kind of, I think, started putting on a little bit more weight, but after that I had some health issues and just kept piling on the weight. I had gotten through a vicious cycle of, you know, comfort eating. Oh, I don't have time to cook. Oh, I've had a bad day in work. Oh, it's been too long of a day. I don't want to sit here and cook. So it'd be a lot of orders and takeouts and whatnot. And then every Monday I said, no, I'm going to stop and I'm going to, you know, eat healthy. And I'd have a salad for lunch and an apple as a snack. And by Tuesday I was back eating the way I was eating, and then obviously piling on the weight. And I remember I went for my Pilates class. I love Pilates and yoga. I'm not a big fitness person, but I do love yoga and Pilates, and I love having the flexibility and kind of keep training that. And I went for one Pilates class, and I just couldn't. I couldn't, you know, do any or nearly any of the movements. My family, my mother and my grandmother both have type 2 diabetes. They struggle with weight, and my husband was always saying, you know, you really need to think about your health. You need to kind of realize that maybe one day you'll have the same issue, and we don't want to run into that. And that was always kind of at the back of my head, and I said that, you know, like, health is important, but also, like, I think my first trigger was the fact that I couldn't even do all the movements for a class that I enjoyed doing before. And I was like, no, something needs to happen, and I need something to click here. So then I looked into motivation, because I remembered my mom doing it. I actually saw it when I was reviewing my health plans for something else through my insurance, and motivation was mentioned, and I then thought about it, and I said, my mom did that years ago and she had fabulous results. And I just kind of saw it as my last option, because I had tried everything.
Form you would have filled out at the very beginning, the one thing that jumped out was that your husband was worried about your health and potential diabetes because of your mum. So that is fantastic. As I said, he's a keeper. He's definitely a keeper. He sounds like a wonderful guy. So whatever your name is, yeah, what's his name?
Mihai.
Mihai. We have to give Mihai a mention. Fair play, Mihai. If only all partners would support as much, but it does help.
It's a huge difference to have someone there rooting for you, and you know, he wouldn't be big into kind of say praise or, you know, for little things, but all throughout it, every week I came home with, you know, my report card, as I would call it. I'm like, look, I'm down another whatever, you know, few pounds, or he'd be amazing. Oh, and he's been a fabulous support all throughout it, so I'm very thankful.
And do you mind me asking, Madalina, because I know listeners might relate to this or might be wondering, have this question in their head. Did he say anything to you initially? He did express concern, but how did he go about that? Did you find it hard if he said it, or what happened?
I did, yeah. So he kind of, when he started, you know, he'd be like, oh, you know, you're kind of putting on the weight. And initially I kind of took it very badly. I took great offense to it, and I was kind of like, well, sorry, you know, it's my body type of thing. And I think that in my head, because I was just taking it so negatively, it kind of delayed the process a little bit. But he was saying it out of concern for my health, and I just didn't really want to hear it or didn't want to see it that way. And when I obviously I'm kind of like the boy who cried wolf, because like I said, every Monday I'd go on a diet, like now it's the day, you know, this is the time that I'm going to lose the weight, and eventually people kind of start not believing you.
That happens.
I mean, can you blame them?
Yeah.
So when I told him about starting motivation, he said, okay, if that's what you want to do, we'll do that. He said, but it just kind of, I could nearly see that he didn't believe that it would work again this time around. And I don't know if that maybe kind of helped me in terms of pushing me and being like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong this time. But yeah.
It's funny because it's fight or flight. Some people would be, oh, I'm a survivor, I'm going to show you, or others would be, poor me, I'm not, no, it's not going to work. What's interesting too is when you started off, we often ask the question, we always ask the question, on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you that you will reach your ideal weight this time? Can you remember what you put down on a scale of 0 to 10?
I think it was something like 1 or 3.
Yeah. It was really low, and look at you now.
I know.
Fantastic. So did you find because obviously your motivation, as you say, could have been that sometimes a negative thing like that can spur you on, so that can be a great thing. But when you started off, I have your report here, your very first report, if you're okay for us to share this. Your mental weight was 15 stone 2 pounds. As I said, I don't have that in kilos off the top of my head, but we can see there were a lot of habits, a lot of unhealthy habits. Exercise was 0. Food reward was a big thing that always comes up. You're nodding your head on that one. And negative motivation. We talk about negative and positive motivation. Negative motivation was actually 33. So we try to get everything above 70%. That was a big issue. And that would suggest that you had negative thoughts and lack of self-belief.
Absolutely, for sure. I definitely did. And I'm not gonna lie, I came in here and I said, I'll go on the 20-week program, but I didn't for a second think that I would get to even lose 10 kg. I said, if I lose that, it would be a miracle. Okay,
interesting. And you know the little word that you just said, and we all watch out for it with all of our clients and our patients, is the word if. So straight away that is suggesting doubt.
For sure.
So that's how you were feeling. And as you went along the program, how did that change for you?
I mean, from the first week of doing the program, I mean, the first day after I came in here and I had my chat with Nolene, and I said, right, I'm going to start the program on this day. I started that day, and then I was volunteering in the morning. It was a Saturday, and I came home. My parents had come to visit, and I came home to a delivery of Domino's pizza, and everyone was having pizza, and they said, oh, just start tomorrow and have a slice of pizza.
Left here.
Well, it was. I had been here the day before, and then that morning I said, right, I'm starting. And I had started that morning, and I said no. And it was probably one of the most challenging things to do, to kind of turn away from something. I mean, a Domino's pizza was great for me, you know, before, and I said no, because if I don't start today, I never will. And I just said, absolutely not. I walked away, I went upstairs, and I said, you guys let me know when you've had your food.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was tough. I cried that day.
Okay. Was it worth it?
It was definitely worth it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fair play. Thing I've noticed from your file, and Nolene has told me, she made even a note here, something that's really important. You did fill out the worksheets each week. You brought your daily diary, and we always say daily diary because this is much more than food. So absolutely. Did you listen to the audio? Did you drink your water? Did you get sleep? Whatever. So that is, we see it in all the files. Anyone who follows the program as designed and uses it's like a jigsaw, uses all the pieces, get the results like yourself. So yeah, it's and the other thing then, we said it wasn't about the scale, and we always say that to people, if you focus not on the scale, focus on the mental weight and what that's telling you, the scale looks after itself. So then the important thing is now, are you at target? You have a little bit to go, is that right?
I do have a little bit to go, indeed, yeah.
Okay, so when you get to target, then we will obviously do the maintenance program, and we'll come once a month, get you coming once a month, because your mental weight report, again, we can show a visual of this, attach it. You've gone from reds, very low scores, to look at this. This is amazing. Wow. Look at the healthy, all those healthy habits and behaviors, and the same on this page here. So the idea is to make sure that none of the unhealthy habits, none of these reds creep back in again, because they're lifelong habits. They probably, like reward, where do you think that came from? Would your mother have said, oh, you're a good girl, I'll buy you an ice cream? Or where do you think that came from, the rewards thing? Or nice?
I don't know. I think it's just, you know, you kind of get into a mindset of, oh, I did great today, pat on the back, let's have it, celebrate with a, I don't know, a takeaway. Or, oh my God, you know, it was such a tough day at work, I don't want to go home and cook, I deserve a break, let's have a takeaway, or have an ice cream, or Nutella on toast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then the blocks came up at the beginning. It does, because this report does all the work for us, and it did say that you may have some motivational blocks. So the report would tell us that was the lack of self-belief and the whole lot.
Absolutely.
Do you believe you're going to keep the weight off now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I never want. I mean, the weight to me is a bonus. Like losing the weight, what it has done for my mental health, for the way I see myself, my confidence, it's life-changing. It really is. I mean, great, I've lost weight, I get to wear different clothes, or I get to buy a whole new wardrobe. But the confidence, even in work, everyone's been like, you know, you really come out, and I was like, no, I used to be like this, and then that happened, and I just wanted to hide, and I didn't want to attract any more attention to myself. And now it's just like, yes, I'm confident, I can do this, and I'm like, you know, trying to be front and center. I run events, so you look fantastic, and I said, oh no, thank you, I really appreciate you saying that, actually, because it's nice. I mean, at the end of the day, you put in all the work and whatnot, and it's nice to kind of hear or know that people notice it, in terms, even if it's just for yourself to kind of lose the weight, but it just makes a difference in the way you are day to day. So yeah.
Well, listen, a big shout out and thank you to Mihai.
Yes,
is it Mihai again?
Indeed.
And I think the very strong message here is about support, but also about self-belief. So I would say to all the listeners today, bear in mind, nearly everyone coming into us at the beginning has tried every other program, like you said yourself, Madalina. So obviously there's going to be a lack of you know, low self-belief, doubt in the program, doubt in themselves, doubt in us. You've only just met us, you know, how can you trust us 100%? So I would encourage all the listeners out there to, if you're feeling that way, certainly go on to our website, motivation.ie, and book an assessment. At least come in and meet with our lovely team, and they'll certainly be delighted to meet you. And Madalina, thank you again so much. You look fantastic, and well done.
Thank you, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.